Day one down at Parc Ferme. We had a bit of rain. Now the blue sky's coming out, and hopefully it's going to be lovely, lovely, lovely for the rest of the day.
Well, I hope it's going to be lovely all day. I mean, certainly a lot more blue skies this morning, and I've just been chatting to the Michelin chaps. That's Andy James, who's the team leader of the Michelin crew this year, along with Stuart Dozé, who's a well-known character in the motorcycling world with Michelin, and their technical boffin, Tony.
Tony, is it?
Tony, yeah. I thought his name was Trevor.
We'll talk to Trevor tomorrow, is it?
No, Tony tomorrow.
Oh, Trev.
Tony and Andy and Stuart, so nice chaps from Michelin, know all about tyres, so we'll get some inside lines from them. And there is a boat out there.
No, I was talking about the man walking this way. Do you want to try and catch him? This man here.
Well, I don't know how busy he is.
He don't look that busy.
Well,
what's he do all day anyway?
Well, make sure that everything works okay. We're talking about
he's not been here, is he?
Local man David Dignan, who is now the clerk of the course of the Scottish. He's walking about with a mobile phone in his hand, so he's obviously expecting a call. In fact, he's just taken a call by the looks of things. So, it all happens on the Monday, but I think we'll try and get him on the radio this week, if not today, if we can, just to talk about the changes, because there's quite a few changes this year at the trial. The route has been... the daily routes have been altered to what they used to be, but that's just probably a bit of a refresh, stop things getting stale. And but there's obviously other factors maybe come into it, maybe changes of ownership of the land use access to the open countryside, where they can go. I did hear, I don't know how true it is, but I did hear that the police preferred a reduction in the road mileage, probably just to control it a bit better. And just be careful, because there are two police motorcyclists here patrolling with the trial to keep things moving, to make sure that people don't stop in the wrong places or in areas where they maybe shouldn't stop a car or van. So there are a couple of outriders going about, and there obviously are traffic vehicles on the go during the trial itself, so it is watched over by the authorities, so just be careful out there.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I say it's one of those things that evolves throughout the week and even through the day. It changes hourly depending on what the road conditions are like, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, as we all know, the situation with the Scottish Highlands is that there is changeable weather. Just as you go, I mean, we've said this before, it can be all 4 seasons in one day here.
Blue sky's there.
Blue sky just now, but I've been here a lot of years, and I have seen snow on some of the days in the month of May, which is unusual. But it can
iced up
happen.
in here, haven't we? We've actually, we've struggled.
Yeah, we have struggled even in the car park, rain. It is a high rainfall area, the northwest area of Scotland, anyway. Changeable weather. It's just the way it is here.
I would have thought today's actually quite a good day for riding and taking part, 'cause it's not too hot, not too cold.
Not too hot, too cold. The ideal sort of day is as it is just now, but without any rain at all and the ground dry. That is the best. I mean, we're just saying that at the weekend there in pre-65, the weather forecast wasn't too good in the lead up to the event, but when it actually did come on stream, it was probably perfect riding weather, because it was dry most of the time and not too hot, because obviously you get really quite hot and sweaty when you're riding a trials bike over the moors and up through the sections. So it was probably an ideal weather. A lot of people think, if it's it's sunny, that's really ideal, but sometimes with the sun, the heat goes up obviously, and then you get, you're hot riding the bike, you're hot with the sun, then you start to overheat and you start to get high dehydrated, and that can cause all sorts of problems when you're riding competitive motorcycles.
Yeah, it's always a challenge for both machine and person on the machine. 'Cause I'm not going to say man, because it's multi-sex sport.
Yeah, that's right. Men and women take part. Same with the Scottish 6 Days trial. There's quite a few women riding this year. Emma Bristow, a multiple world trials champion, taking part with her husband James Fry.
She was at school when I started doing this.
She was actually when we first interviewed her. She was still attending school. I think she was 17 at the time, so she's just about to leave the school. So that was it. Yeah.
It's good to sort of follow her through, and I mean, how she has grown and developed, and really got into the sport, and is a good ambassador for it as well.
Absolutely right. And I think she's riding this year, husband and wife team of Dan Thorpe and Katie Sunter.
Yeah.
I think she's riding. I haven't checked it out yet, but I'm sure she's riding. She certainly was at the pre-65, walking around watching the sections, and Dan actually won the trial. He finished on 0 marks, along with local hero Gary MacDonald, also dropped 0 marks, but it was a tie-break situation, and Dan won the tie-break, so he actually picked up the honours this year at the pre-65 trial.
Yeah. Tie breaks in sport, that can always be difficult, can't it?
It's always a bit of a kind of controversial one, because how do you do it? Do you do it on the biggest bike? Well, how do you know what the size of the engine of that bike is without you actually strip it down? You can take measurements and see what cc it is. What we do back at Inverness, so with our trial, if we do have a tie break, we use dates of birth. We do give it to the oldest competitor.
Okay.
Simple. And there's no argument, because everybody's born on a certain day, so that's it, that's fixed. Whereas when you start getting it down onto the motorcycles, there's so much modifications goes under the cover of casings and things like that with an engine, that you don't know what's inside it. And the only way to be honourable about it would be actually to have it stripped professionally and measured. That's what they do in racing. If there's a contest, they actually have a mechanic at a lot of these events, not necessarily trials, but at some of the motorsport events. They actually can strip an engine to see what capacity it is.
Okay.
Because people can overbore them and things like that. So yeah, that's what happens. It's in the rule book.
Interesting. We'll start with Rider 1. Now, I thought going out first on the first day is probably the less advantageous, because everything's going to be more slippery.
Everything's slippery, but I mean, anybody leaving the Parc Ferme as the first rider of the day has that problem.
That's a good honour.
But it is taken as a bit of an honour. I mean, traditionally in the last sort of 40 odd years, maybe more than that, let me think now, probably 50 years, it has tended to be, but not exclusively, a Scottish competitor that leads the trial and has rider number 1. But when you go into the history of the trial, you then see that wasn't always the case. I mean, at one time in the 1950s and early 60s, the first sort of 10 or 12 numbers were allocated to small capacity machines, like machines under 150 cc's. And then over the years, they brought in this situation where it was the preferred rider was Scottish. There was a loud sort of crashing sound there.
Yeah, but are we all right in the hut? Are we okay in there? There's a bit of a bang coming from our transmission trailer.
Sounds as if something
Supplied
fell
by
over.
Dyslaxis, one of our sponsors this week.
There's no response, so they're probably crushed under some
So the health and
equipment.
safety. There's something moving. Hang on, there's something moving in there.
There is movement.
There is
in
life
there,
still.
Yeah. Oh well. It was just there was an almighty clatter, but nobody seems to be.
Oh, hang on. Hang on. There's something moving. What's happening now? Oh, you're going to tell me it's too bright in there to see the monitors now. That's the normal complaint. Here we go. We're trying to put a sunscreen up.
All right.
Yeah, we can see what's going on.
Good.
Annual problem. When the sun comes out, it's worse.
Right.
You can't see the
The
screens.
screens, right. I'm with you.
Well, they're all fun and games. Our sponsors this week, we've got a few. We've got Trial Magazine and Michelin Tires and you, Trial
Charles Guru, yeah.
being here. We've got our board behind us. We've got these gentlemen. This gentleman here, Gavin Cairns.
Yeah,
He's a new
Gavin
one for us.
Cairns roughcasting. Bit of story behind that. Gavin is a local man from Fort William. He's now based up in the Inverness area, and he's got his own limited company. His limited company is Gavin Cairns Roughcasting Limited, working on a lot of the new build sites in Inverness. Quite a few vans on the road, all doing the roughcasting of properties. So Gavin, being a trials rider, being from Fort William, has local relatives, etc. So he's come in and provided quite a lot of support for Nevis Radio, I would say.
We've got cover.
Yeah, we got covered by him, the
And
awning.
teas and coffees through the week, I understand.
Yeah, I believe so. We haven't been down there yet, so apparently he's arranged it for us that we get complimentary tea and coffee. So that'll be
And a bacon
quite
butty?
good. Probably, I would
We'll
think.
work on that
I don't
one.
know
It's
what
in
the
that
catering
time.
is now. I don't know who's actually arranging the catering, but we'll soon find out.
Yeah, maybe you need to do a preamble and have a investigation.
A reconnoitre.
Well, you like to find out who's down there and build them up.
Poke my nose in here and there. Yeah, that's how I do it. Yeah, that's what happens.
We've got Conwest as well, formerly known as Lochilnet. They
We do.
literally last week went under a different ownership. Everything stays the same, but they're supplying all our streaming services and internet while we're down in this car park.
Yeah, good.
indebted to them. The hire centre is their generation running off right now, and where our main aerial goes up to transmit back to the studio, that's up on there as well.
And a Pico Factory Racing.
Yep.
They have provided some hard parts that we've put in for the competition this week. And today's competition, we'll just run through it now as it's handy, we've mentioned it. We've got for grabs today a set of a Pico Trials performance handlebars, and they come brand new, ready to fit, all liveried up. And the question is for the competition, are the handlebars aluminium or steel? They almost floated away there. There's a hint for you. So are these handlebars manufactured from aluminium or steel? So you give us the answer, and just phone in to the radio station, which Simon Aberley will give you the details of. The telephone number you require is Fort William, that's 0137
706 100.
706 100. Yeah, so that's how you would probably contact us the easiest, I would say, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
There we go.
And Si, how are things back at the studio, communication-wise? Anything to report on? Yes, for Mr. Moffat.
Yes, I'd like to request a tune today. I hope it's on the system. It's one that I've been featuring on my nightly broadcasts on Facebook when I'm bored, and it's one from the 70s. I think it might be 1973, and it's the group, the artists were called Mott the Hoople, and it was their the tune that was gifted to them by the late David Bowie called All the Young Dudes.
How did I guess that? Mott the Hoople. He's typing back there now. All the Young Dudes. Go, 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 go.
The tyre is such an important part of your bike. It's the only part which touches the ground, and when you get that perfect combination, it's hard to beat. The Michelin tyres have been perfect for me. I've been running the DH22 on the front and the DH34 on the back, and it's a really good combination between grip and rolling speed. It's hard to find a tyre which has both the grip and the durability and not wear out. It means less tyre changing, less putting air in your tyres, less putting tyre sealant in your tyres, and it's just easier for me as a professional. It just does what I want it to do. It's not doing anything funny, and they've been durable. I've ridden them on some really rough terrain and I haven't had any punctures yet, but to last long as well, it's ideal really.
Our mountains, glens and waterways are some of the best in Scotland, if not the world. Breathtaking views and awe-inspiring landscape, adventures for us all. Come and explore our water and mountains. It will make you feel alive.
lodges by the river, barges on the canal, or even a luxury castle, they all share the common theme of being surrounded by stunning views and incredible scenery here in Lochaber. Rest assured, we are doing everything we can to keep you safe during your stay. We can't wait to welcome you.
Day one, blue sky, sun coming out, it's warming up. They got too much sun in the trailer, they can't see the monitors.
Oh,
I
dear.
love live radio and streaming.
Oh dear, yeah, it's all happening, and apparently you've got a different cable that's arrived which might help things tomorrow. That's absolutely brilliant, because you've got the Michelin boys coming in there. But that last tune there, fantastic. It takes me back to the old days when I was still at school. I'm sure it was 1973, I might be wrong, it was around about that time. But I always remember later on I found out that David Bowie had written it, and they'd given it to Mott the Hooples, Ian Hunter, to give them basically a kickstart, and it certainly put them into orbit, because they had quite a few tunes in the top 10 after that as well.
Yeah.
So it was a really good band in its day. And of course now they've got you go back and look at their old films, and they've got the big hairdos in that, and they're coming back in again.
Absolutely. And all these bands, I mean, they're sort of forming under different guises, and their music's keeping alive, which I think is lovely.
It is. It's brilliant. I really enjoy it, and I mean, I tend to do a link to YouTube and that. I mean, I don't do anything fancy, but it's an amazing amount of people that come on a Saturday night about midnight liking these tunes, and it's all people around about my own age.
To make sure we've got one on our system, because you've got a pretty good and diverse taste in music.
Yeah, I certainly have.
It's like the other day, I think you put Crockett's theme, you were playing that, and that one on our systems, that's there now.
Yeah, Jan Hammer, that's
Hammer.
Right.
What a musician he was.
Yeah, oh, fantastic.
He shares the same birthday as me, 17th of April.
Does he?
Yes, he.
Oh, there you go. That just shows you. And quite a lot of this stuff is different. I mean, I used to say to people, I like from Andy Williams to Motorhead. That was the way it goes.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Bit extreme, but there you go.
That's what music is about. And music and sport sort of mixes as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people, actually, music dates things.
Yeah.
Whenever you play a tune, or they listen to a tune, it takes them straight back to the time that they first heard it, or something happened in their life where that tune was at the top of the hit parade, as we used to call it then, top of the charts, whatever. And it means something to people. And of course, when it comes to the bitter end, these tunes are sometimes being played at funerals now.
Yeah, talking about it on Saturday, it's the Edison Lighthouse, Rosemary Grows Where My... Grows My... Love Grows My Rosemary Goes.
Yeah.
I'm playing that on Saturday, and it's one of those songs, I love the song, but it's played at my Nan's funeral, but all the tunes she wanted to be upbeat, she chose them.
That was it.
That's all the sort of stuff we love, but even now it just leaves that sort
great,
of sinking feeling.
Yeah,
music's a weird thing.
Absolutely right.
That's why I do like doing the radio, and it's all genres and styles of music.
Yeah.
And trying to pick out one particular artist or one particular tune, I find it very difficult.
That's right, yeah. And not being morbid, but I was at a funeral a couple of years ago, a chap who suddenly died, heart attack, motorcyclist, went to his funeral. Actually, I had to speak at the funeral, and they played him out to Sharp Dressed Man by ZZ Top, because when he went out at night, he always had a nice tie and shirt and jacket on, and that's how he sort of preferred to be known, as a sharp-dressed person when he was out of an evening with his girlfriend or previous wives and things like that. Yeah.
What we do is, while we're sort of chatting, let Si can choose a tune, more upbeat one, because he's more into the sort of dance scene. We've had a couple of the oldies now. Maybe you should choose one very shortly, Si. time now? It's just gone 30 minutes. 9:30. 9:30 on Monday, Bank Holiday Monday.
2 hours into the trial itself, first man left this morning, Michael Anderson of Dunmellington, a Scottish rider, at 7:30. So that's us 2 hours into the programme, and another hour and a half till the finish, isn't it?
Amazing, amazing. It does flow very quickly when you're sort of sitting here, and we're not doing any interviews because Monday's not a good interview day, really, is it? Because the people are busy, they're preoccupied, shall we say?
They certainly are, and it's just a case of catching people if they're available, and there's a lot of activity. It is getting very much lighter, yes.
A young rider.
Oh, right, young rider,
Yeah,
sorry.
young rider,
I thought you said it was getting lighter, and it is actually getting lighter. But they've got quite a few officials down here today. You had the clerk of the course, David Dignan, the former clerk of the course, Jeff Horn, has been in, Secretary Kirsten Pennycook, whose office is actually situated right behind the radio station here, or the outside broadcast unit here. And a lot of activity. Rider numbers, we're up to, I can't see it now. What number's that? Hold on a sec, I'll just nip across here.
Oh dear.
Number
He's
1,
gone.
2,
He's
4.
gone. We're not going to see him for an
1,
hour
2,
now.
3's up on the start ramp just now. So 1, 2, 3's just about ready to go, followed by 1, 2, 4. Who are they? Can we find out? 1, 2, 3. Shush.
You can't mute John Moffat when he's in full flow.
John Moffat didn't know he was muted. Just kept talking. Of course, you see, the problem is I'm using a headphone, and of course it had popped out, and you'd spoken to, well, obviously Simon had started talking, so unfortunately these are the technicalities we've got this morning. 2 people talking at once is rude. But anyway, I can be muted out whenever's required.
Need to say hello to Jane Westbrook, who was a pre-65 competitor many years ago.
Joan Westbrook.
Joan, what did I
yeah,
say?
June.
Did I Joan?
Joan Westbrook.
Sure
Yeah, I know
said
Joan. Oh, you got me confused now. Joan Westbrook. Yeah.
Joan from the north. Yeah, no, she's been messaging us Friday, and that's all, wishing the ladies and the female competitors a good event.
Yeah, I would imagine she would do, because she tends to do that. She comes from the deep south, ridden the pre-65 multiple times. Very good lady competitor, more specialist in the pre-65 side of things. Yeah.
Do we know how many female competitors we got compared to males this year?
No idea at all.
No.
I'd have to add them up.
That'll be your task for tonight.
That'll be a
then.
task for tonight to do my homework.
Rider 288 will be the last one leaving, and that's quite a high number, I'd have said. Is that? Are they increasing every year?
Not really, no. It's always been round about the 275 mark, but obviously they've boosted it a little bit to take more in, so that'll be rider Paul Nicholson from Durham County on a 4R team in Teza, so he'll be leaving the Parc Ferme later today. My son's actually riding 268 Stephen Moffat from Inverness on a Vertigo, and he doesn't start till the back of 12, so I don't think he gets in till about 8 o'clock tonight.
Rider 223, that we've got friends of them staying with us. Now, they're from Sweden, and he entered originally but didn't get selected to take part.
Yeah, that would be
Then
right.
there was a cancellation, and literally had about 2 days to get everything together from Sweden to get over here to take part.
Yeah, so he'll be replacing a Brian Cook from the arm. Wait a minute, Brian Cook Scarborough has obviously pulled out, so it'll be a replacement entry. Yeah,
But, I mean, that is some organisation to get flights and tickets organised, and
it is. Yeah, it is. It's quite a task, and obviously when these things go to print, the entry lists go to print. There's obviously some changes after that. Because you've got deadlines, with printers, they've got to know what they're going to have to print, when they've got to print it, so they can deliver on time. So obviously when people drop out late in the day, maybe even up to the last week or so, they'll not, the changes won't have taken place for the programme and list of competitors.
And would I be right in saying that certain competitors are guaranteed a ride, like the factory drivers?
Yes,
riders and
that's right.
winners from
That
the
is
previous
correct.
years?
I mean, everybody thinks there's a common thought that it is a ballot for all riders. It's not. You're probably lucky if there's between 40 or 50 riders actually probably go in the ballot once you sort of count it all out. Maybe slightly more than that, of course, not being accurate here. But, there's so many held back for the army. There's so many held back for the factory riders and team riders that are nominated by these manufacturers, and certain competitors have been allowed entries over the years because they've supported the trial through thick and thin as well. So just a little bit of respect there. So there's not so many go into the ballot as you would think. There's not the whole 288 go in.
And we talk about factory riders and club riders. Now, I'm assuming factory riders, they're all their gear supplied by the factory.
Yeah, they would be. They could be supplied by the factory, supplied by the manufacturers of the garments, because obviously riders pull in support from various sources. In fact, there was a bit of sort of social media chat in the last few weeks about a rider who was competing in the World Series, who put out a plea for support so that he could actually take part, because he was taking part as a privateer. So it's not all paid for, but you know, if you're as good as Tony Bowe in the World Series, then I'm quite sure that he gets all his bikes for free and all his garments for free, and gets flown all over the world, because he does work for Honda effectively through the Monteza brand. But you've got sort of semi-supported riders, you've got full factory riders. There's quite a difference in the sort of different levels of the sport as well. I mean, professional riders and semi-professional riders. But back in the days, back in the 50s, there was very, very few riders who rode for the factories were actually paid a salary, if you like. Yeah. They've actually got a bike from the factory, and then they got sort of promotional stuff from spark plug manufacturers, carburetor manufacturers, all that sort of stuff. Maybe the tyre manufacturers would put in support as well.
I'm surprised not more riders have sponsorship labels on their jackets and that, which, I know the jackets get messed up, but I mean, you look at most sports these days, there'd be big emblems on the side like what you're wearing there, obviously Michelin, one of our sponsors, but very few of these riders have actually got that sort of stuff on them. Yeah,
probably because of the fact they're privateers and they're using maybe garments that are not trials garments, because not a lot of trials garments are actually using Gore-Tex, for example, which is a waterproof membrane. They're quite expensive. They're more likely to be using maybe some Gore-Tex tops this week just to keep themselves dry, that are not branded from a trials perspective. That can be a difference as well. So it really depends on what jacket you've chosen to go out on the Monday, when you've looked at the weather at 7 o'clock this morning, it was pouring the rain, and thought, right, waterproof this or whatever, so it's maybe not labelled up, and you'll maybe see through the days going by, that will change as time goes on.
Exactly. I think we should have a tune, which Mr. Simon Abley is going to be choosing.
Not quite sure at the moment, because that's down to the catering department back at Moffat Towers, because we left the old one at home. We retired it now, and I was supposed to get a new one, but I haven't actually seen it myself yet. And of course, because of certain things that are happening today time-wise, I wasn't really needing a lunch brought down, because I'm not even leaving here till the back of 12, which is after the show finishes. So there's no lunch preparation today at all. And I think I'll probably be eating late, because my son doesn't finish till 8 o'clock tonight. So it'll probably be a bag of chips out of Macari's or something like that, I would imagine.
Other places are available.
Other places are available, but it's easy to access them when it's within walking distance.
Oh my goodness. He doesn't change, does he?
Don't.
Yeah, anyway. Other food outlets are available. They're about 40 away from us at the moment. Yeah, sounds like a plan. John Moffish is nodding. It doesn't work on the radio, John.
No, of course it doesn't. I was waiting on you speaking. Yeah, 183 Jared Boniface from Australia of Wollongong MCC. So our friends down in Australia, I do know they do listen in, because some people do take the trouble of texting or messaging you to say that they're listening in far-flung places such as Oz.
Maybe we can play a tune, then we'll come back and have a look at the route again. That's okay, go refresher on that.
The tyre is such an important part of your bike. It's the only part which touches the ground. And when you get that perfect combination, it's hard to beat. The Michelin tyres have been perfect for me. I've been running the DH22 on the front and the DH34 on the back, and it's a really good combination between grip and rolling speed. It's hard to find a tyre which has both the grip and the durability and not wear out. It means less tyre changing, less putting air in your tyres, less putting tyre sealant in your tyres, and it's just easier for me as a professional. It just does what I want it to do. It's not doing anything funny, and they've been durable. I've ridden them on some really rough terrain and I haven't had any punctures yet, but to last long as well, it's ideal really.
Our mountains, glens and waterways are some of the best in Scotland, if not the world. Breathtaking views and awe-inspiring landscape, adventures for us all. Come and explore our water and mountains. It will make you feel alive.
From lodges by the river, barges on the canal, or even a luxury castle, they all share the common theme of being surrounded by stunning views and incredible scenery here in Lochaber. Rest assured, we are doing everything we can to keep you safe during your stay. We can't wait to welcome you.
Are we back with us? Hello. Are we back with us? Yeah, hello, are we back with us? There you go. Excellent. There you go. It's all right, we're getting confusion over teas, coffees, white teas, some with sugar, some with no sugars. They've been a bit confusing. It's the priorities of 6 days trial. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, you'll be okay. You'll be sorted out there. We get some nice shots of the riders just getting lined up at the start ramp. They're just sort of behind that. And your pictures today are being supplied by Tom, who's on the camera from Loch Harbour Showstoppers. We've also got David down here, does a Monday mid-afternoon show. We've got Dan, who sometimes does a Saturday morning show. And we've got Sean, who does a Saturday evening show. So a lot of people down here today, which is fantastic. And throughout the week, you're going to see different people. We've got John Moffat, the guru.
Yes, I'm here, and we're actually going to interview this morning at just after 10:30 David Dignan, the 2023 clerk of the course of the Scottish 6 Days Trial, will be coming in for a quick chat with us at that time.
There you go. You see, you're putting these interviews in place.
As you do.
Almost like a system and a schedule and a plan.
And I went away to arrange it, and I come back and the table's got tea spilt on it.
I'm not taking responsibility for that.
What happened there? Was it
well, there's
a tea issue?
Confusion over the orders.
Oh, right, I see.
But yeah, we'll find up a clean-up team for you.
I'll drink anything, you know that. Well, not
did you order
anything.
A drink? Did you order a drink?
Yeah, I did, but it was just a tea with milk. But
a tea with milk?
Arrived. It maybe didn't.
Yeah, there's been a bit of a failure. I thought you'd ordered tea with milk.
Yeah. Well,
but we need to get a better phone system to get the
take someone else, but it doesn't matter.
We need a chalkboard. That's what we need.
There you go.
We'll get it sorted.
So that's what's happened then since I went away.
So we're going to have a quick look at this route, I think was the plan now, if that's okay.
We're doing it now?
Yep.
We don't need to wait on any introductions or anything, so that's good. Monday the 1st of May, Scottish 6 Days Trial 2023. First section this morning was 2 subs at Sleach, which is just up off the old Mamore Road that goes through the hills from Fort William to Kinloch Leven. 2 sections at Upper Mamore, which is just outside the village of Kinloch Leven. First rider was due to be there at 8:20, so we'll be pretty well through the field by now. Next section, a single section at Schoolhouse, followed by 1 section at Pap of Glencoe, which is on the South Loch Leven Road to near to Glencoe. So Pap of Glencoe is being used today, 1 sub. Over the hill to Clachaig, near the inn, and that's Group D, before they go into the Glencoe itself, Clachaig. And then Group F, there's 3 sections at East Abodach, which is down the Glenetiv Road, I don't know if it's actually advisable to go down Glen Etive Road. It normally isn't. I don't know what the sort of running score is now with these roads, but they do a further 2 sections at Group G, which is further down Glen Etive, and that's Meal Nantarb. First rider there at 10:40, so he's not that far away. And then down to Group H, which is at Appin. Now there is sustenance available for spectators at the Appin Village Hall today, so thank you very much to the villagers who are staffing that there. So please support these people if you're down spectating at the Appin sections. It would be good to have you going in and supporting the people of Appin in the village hall. Section Group I, 3 sections at Glen Stockdale, just further up the road, 25 minutes run for the riders. And then Group J, there's 2 sections at Glen Muckrach. 12:45 is the approximate time the first rider to arrive. Then up to Section Group K, just further up the valley, at Salachan. First rider there at 1 o'clock, followed by 3 subs at Bilach, Group L. First rider there quarter an hour later at 1:15. And at 13:40, which is 20 to 2, the old favourite just at Kentallon, and that's Lagnaha Farm, and there's 4 sections there at Lagnaha. So that's the running route for today, sponsored by John Lee Motorcycles.
Now, there's something over there which is probably going to interest you. Behind us, by the refuelling point, there's an old BSA.
Yes, that's what looks like a BSA B40. I think it's being ridden by Bill Buckley, who is an army rider. And these motorcycles were built for the Ministry of Supply back in 1967 onwards, and quite a few of them now. The engines of them are actually powering what we know in the pre-65 movement as Drayton framed bikes. Very popular now with the pre-65 riders. Technically not pre-65, because these machines were actually manufactured in 67 to a pre-65 design. That bike that you see in the compound this morning. And but the engines of them, it's a 343cc BSA unit single. They had the wide ratio gearbox, and they were used by the army. So by army people, and then they were most of them were sold off into private hands. But that one there, we've actually got Bill here. We'll have a quick word with him.
You want a quick word,
Yeah, that'll we do. Bill, if you just come in, Bill Buckley. I'll just take a thing here, a microphone. Just stand about here. That would be great, Bill. Now you've got, we're live. You've got a BSA B40. Could you tell us a little bit about it? Because obviously it would be an army motorcycle at one time.
Yeah, certainly. It's an original BSA B40 that we had in service from about 66 until 1981. I found it online in Germany, and it was all standard, and the only thing I've changed is the old butterfly carburetor I told you about it, for 26mm ammo.
Yeah.
But otherwise it's a 20-inch front, 18 back. It has actually got better, it's the last engine, it's got the better gearbox. All first three gears are low, and of course force is very good for the road, up to about 55-60 miles an hour.
Yeah, and of course nowadays a lot of people have robbed these bikes of their engines to power other machines. One of particular is a Drayton, which is a commercially available frame kit specifically for trials that is eligible for the pre-65 Scottish trial.
Yes.
But powered by an ex-army WD B40.
Indeed, I took part in the 2-day, and I've got the same engine in a better, as you know, in a lighter frame, 99 or 100 kilos.
Yeah.
And indeed, they run, depending on how you set up the ignition and the carburation, everything else runs is a very basic engine, I think, and seem to be very reliable and run very well, actually.
Yeah, basically that. I mean, originally when they were first starting to use the B40s in pre-65, they were using the original army frames, a lot of them, because it was more like the sort of Victor setup.
It's very heavy.
Yeah, very heavy, because when you actually cut them open, they're all full of brass, which is brazing.
It must be 160 kilos.
Yeah, I once had one powder coated, and the guy that did it lifted it, And he was a motorcycle road racer, this guy, George Spence, and he says, my goodness, what frame is this? I says, so it's an Army B40, it's an XWD frame. Oh right, it's very heavy, and of course it's full of brass.
It's certainly Scotty proof.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, in the day, and I rode them personally as a service motorcycle in Germany from 73 till 81, and of course we ran the Army Championships, which is usually about 120 riders, which involved observed sections and then the timed observed sections, and then of course the Enduro loop.
Yeah.
Everybody today would think, how on earth? But of course it's the same disadvantage for everybody with all that weight.
That's right.
Then we moved on to Canham, and then we moved on to Armstrong.
Yeah.
But of course we even did the Welsh 2-day on them. We did some hard enduros on them, and I look at them today and think, how on earth did we do that?
Yeah.
With that thin chain and an enclosed chain case and the old butterfly carburetor coughing along
That's
as we
right.
went along the road.
That's right, yeah. But it's nice to see them out because it actually does look like an old motorcycle, doesn't it? It doesn't look a modern motorcycle,
yes, very
Benny.
much. It's it's an eye turner. Wherever
Yeah.
you park up,
Everyone looks at them.
See it, everybody.
Yeah. You park a brand new bike beside it, nobody looks at the brand new bike, they look at the old BSA. That's the thing that for the older people it brings, or the elderly, it brings back nice memories, I think, at the end of the day, doesn't it?
Indeed. The classic scene, obviously in this country is big, but it's also big in Holland and Belgium, France and Germany. Indeed, they have the rallies for not necessarily the trials bikes, but also that style of bike.
Yeah.
And everybody turns up with all different makes from all over the world. And it's definitely a bigger attraction than some new bikes turning up, without a shadow of a
Because
doubt.
BSA did supply, or Birmingham Small Arms, did supply these motorcycles to different armies, didn't they? The Jordanians had them.
Holland and Denmark, I think. Indeed, the Dutch were very clever. When we sold up on the military bikes in Germany, the Dutch were very quick to buy a lot of our bikes in lots of 5s and 10s.
Yeah.
We were a bit slow. In hindsight, of course, we bought everything ourselves.
Yeah.
We also see on the engine number that, as you know, GB and registration numbers or frame numbers that leak engine numbers for Denmark.
Yeah.
The Danish Army had
That's
them.
right, yeah.
They're all the same engine, I think.
That's right.
And indeed, the last ones that BSA made were the best ones, weren't they, that the Army had?
They were.
That's the most sought after.
The most sought after ones for trials riders because they had the right gearbox and everything was a bit more improved, a bit more sturdy. So that's it.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll have to get on with some other things, Bill. But thanks very much for coming up
Yeah, of
and
course.
speaking to us about the bike because it does draw an interest. So if you're out and about, keep an eye open for Bill and his BSA B40.
Yeah, you can't miss it with a 1967 on the front number plate.
Exactly. So that's the one. So thanks very much for that,
Okay,
Bill.
no problem at all. Thank
Really,
you.
really interesting.
Bill
No, it's good to
Buckley,
see them.
trials rider, enduro rider, and obviously an army serving army member as well. But that's what he's taken round with him, is the old 1967 style BSA B40.
Yeah, no, it's good to have these impromptu little chats. And so I just saw it down there. I thought that is interesting. It's an eye turner. I love the sound of those motors too.
Very much so, and as we were saying, you know, you get a modern bike beside it, and if they park up for a cup of tea, everybody swarms round the older bike. It's just a sort of draw to them, and I must admit I'm the same. I like to have a wee look at them, see what engine and frame numbers they've got on them, and check them out and think, all right, that's interesting. Have a sort of scoot over it, see if the owner's done any modifications to it, or if it's bog standard. You know, I quite like to see bikes that are catalogue bog standard because that preserves them for the future, but I don't mind if I see them modified either. Each to their own. A motorcycle's a very individual thing, and I was brought up never ever to slag off another man's motorcycle because that's his pride and joy, you know. So that's the thing. A couple of interesting characters just appeared. It looks very much like Scott Ellis, who actually rode for BSAs and Triumphs back in the 1960s, and he developed the BSA Otter, which everybody tried to copy. So yeah, Scott's up spectating, and also a previous competitor on the Scottish 6 days
Okay,
trial.
we've got to go to the news now. We'll be back straight after with day one.
The tyre is such an important part of your bike. It's the only part which touches the ground. And when you get that perfect combination, it's hard to beat. The Michelin tyres have been perfect for me. I've been running the DH22 on the front and the DH34 on the back, and it's a really good combination between grip and rolling speed. it's hard to find a tyre which has both the grip and the durability and not wear out. It means less tyre changing, less putting air in your tyres, less putting tyre sealant in your tyres, and it's just easier for me as a professional. It just does what I want it to do. It's not doing anything funny, and they've been durable. I've ridden them on some really rough terrain and I haven't had any punctures yet, but to last long as well, it's ideal really.
Our mountains, glens and waterways are some of the best in Scotland, if not the world. Breathtaking views and awe-inspiring landscape, adventures for us all. Come and explore our water and mountains. It will make you feel alive.
You woke up in the morning with initiative to move, so I make it harder. Move back, think about it, something you do be cool and look smarter. The world time has come to.
From lodges by the river, barges on the canal, or even a luxury castle, they all share the common theme of being surrounded by stunning views and incredible scenery here in Lochaber. Rest assured, we are doing everything we can to keep you safe during your stay. We can't wait to welcome you.
Through until the very last ride on Saturday afternoon, which will be around about 12:30, 1 o'clock, I imagine.
I don't know how you do that.
What, talking to nothing?
Talking to nothing, and it's still playing.
Yeah, it takes a little bit.
4 or 5
Takes a
seconds
little
ago.
bit.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit of shower coming in, I think, at the moment.
Yeah,
We've
well, I
heard.
was told it's going to be sunny after that. Our weather guru down here Sean said,
Yeah.
that's it, clearing up shower, that's it, the rest of the rain, that's going to be dry. But it wasn't.
Well, there you are. It can happen.
We just had that BSA drive away, and I said that sound. It said,
Yeah, you like the sound of the big single lunging its way out of the car
do you know what?
park.
It goes, oh.
Straight through you. 343 cc's there.
It can make you choke on your tea, something like that, couldn't
Absolutely right.
it? Yeah, like somebody did just
Like
now.
I did just now.
We needed a clean-up team again, so it wasn't good. Not very pretty at all.
It's evaporated, which is good. Yeah. Nice cup of tea there. That'll do me. Wind's got up a little bit. Temperatures dropped slightly. Obviously, shower incoming. That's Fort Boyne for you. Changing weather all the time.
A dab.
And talking about changing,
You're still talking.
would a guy come in and he'd drop some chocolate in for us, didn't he?
He did.
Did you know who it was?
Walter from
Traber
Switzerland,
from
yep.
Switzerland. He's down. He'd been across watching the pre-65, and he's done what he's done for years and years. Brought some chocolate in for us, and I think he'll probably be distributing some to maybe the observers today as well, I would imagine. So that's Walter. But he actually competed in the Scottish. What he used to do was he used to fill his rucksack on the Saturday if he got to the Saturday for the last day, and every observer on the Saturday got a bar of chocolate handed to them when he went through. So it was quite an effort actually.
Oh, wow.
I don't think I would have done that. I wouldn't have
No.
wanted any extra weight on my bike.
My
but
goodness, that's a lot to carry around.
it is a
isn't
lot. So there we go.
But
So
no, a little message on your once too for a certain lady in your life.
yes, and because he spelt it wrong, I says, why have you got Jean on the front of it? And he
Jean
says,
with a G.
No, it's for Jean. I went, all right, it's Jean. Chocolate for Jean, right?
It's
I
why it
said-
took ages to work out who Jean was.
I
you
was
know.
trying to figure it out because it was spelled Gene, so I suppose maybe that's the Swiss way of spelling these names. So there you go. From Walter and Alex. Alex Stampley's across with a friend from Switzerland who's also been riding the pre-65 as well in an area. So there we go.
Well, thank you for listening to us and watching us to us on this Monday. It's great to have you there. If you want to be part of the show this weekend and this week even, I'll get it right in a minute. I listen to myself and it just throws you right off this week. Then do get in contact with us. There's many ways you can do it. We've got the WhatsApp, which is probably it seems to be taking over a lot of things now from the text lines and everything like that, which is our usual number, which is 706 100. I assume you have to put the 01397 in front of that too to register that number onto the system, however it works. You also call the studio on 01397 706 100, the same number.
Yeah, spot on. I'm actually frightened to say things because Simon sort of comes in and I've not got my earpiece in because
No.
I find my own voice very distressing.
You've never found your own voice. I can't believe that.
Yeah. No, well, not when it's 4 seconds behind me. That's the distressing part of it. Yeah, but yeah, it's quite a challenge, isn't it?
And you can also win a pair of handlebars.
Yep.
Have you always wanted a pair of handlebars? So I think you've got a certain son or grandson in your life. You just present them with this. They're going to say, "What is it?" And you explain. Well, that goes on a motorbike, and they'll be riding along, pretend they're riding a motorbike.
Correct, absolutely.
That's what I would
correct.
do.
Yeah, and it's
Like if we go
it's
this
there
to
to be
David
won.
now, go nee, around the car park.
Exactly. So if you know what this motorcycle handlebar is manufactured from, is it manufactured from aluminium or is it manufactured from steel? You tell us the answer. You've got a choice of two. You've got 50% chance of getting it right.
We've got quite a few entries, I understand, back at the studio
Good.
too. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we'll let Simon sort them out.
Well, he's got nothing else to do. Yeah.
It would be
We'll
nice.
do it 10:45.
Yeah, I was going to say if we could do it this morning, and if John reckons 10:45, that'll be fine. We've got just at 10:30. We've got David Dignan, the clerk of the course, coming on. So that would be quite good if we just knew round about 10:45ish before we close down at 11 o'clock, and then
Go
we've got
down.
a winner.
We would go down.
Well, close down
Oh,
the
close
outside.
down.
Broadcast.
Oh, shut up shop, love.
Yes, that's right. The morning show will be finished at 11, so that would be good if we do it at just 11:15. Don't you think? Good idea.
Yeah, see, there he goes. I was listening to you finish then. I forgot I've got to talk, otherwise there'd be a quiet bit. Yeah, go on, Si. High centre. There you go. But as I say, we obviously set up. We was up down here on Friday setting up. But we couldn't really test this the way we want to test it. We can't go live and try it. We couldn't really try this out on Friday. I've spoken to Gillian and Gwyn, and we're going to try and get some bits dropped off down here so we can display them and let people know what they look like. We've got tote bags, we've got mugs, there's coasters, and there's key rings at the moment, but the range will grow. Yeah, it looks really nice too. It looks really nice. Yeah, well, I thought can we do weather then a tune? Would that work for you? Bear with. And it's a tune for Dan, who's looking a bit suspicious inside the Thistle Access trailer. He's sort of got himself under a cloak doing stuff. Yep, cue the weather. Cloudy with outbreaks of rain in the morning, soon clearing from the north. The afternoon will be largely dry with some sunshine, becoming colder again. Your maximum high is going to be 10 degrees centigrade, 50 Fahrenheit. Tonight, cloudy at times in the north with a few showers reaching the coast at times. Otherwise, dry and cold with long clear periods. Your minimum overnight, no, stop it. It'll be 4 degrees centigrade, 39 Fahrenheit. Finish it there, play the tune. This one for you, Dan.
From lodges by the river, barges on the canal, or even a luxury castle, they all share the common theme of being surrounded by stunning views and incredible scenery here in Lochaber. Rest assured, we are doing everything we can to keep you safe during your stay. We can't wait to welcome you.
tyre is such an important part of your bike. It's the only part which touches the ground. And when you get that perfect combination, it's hard to beat. The Michelin tyres have been perfect for me. I've been running the DH22 on the front and the DH34 on the back, and it's a really good combination between grip and rolling speed. It's hard to find a tyre which has both the grip and the durability and not wear out. It means less tyre changing, less putting air in your tyres, less putting tyre sealant in your tyres, and it's just easier for me as a professional. It just does what I want it to do. It's not doing anything funny, and they've been durable. I've ridden them on some really rough terrain and I haven't had any punctures yet, but to last long as well, it's ideal really.
Our mountains, glens and waterways are some of the best in Scotland, if not the world. Breathtaking views and awe-inspiring landscape, adventures for us all. Come and explore our water and mountains. It will make you feel alive.
It It is day one. I'm rather glad we got a bit of cover because it's been a bit inclement weather, I'm going to be honest. It's not too blustery. The wind's getting up very slightly now.
Changeable.
But we've got a bit of cover. It protects us from the sun and everything else when that comes out. Dan's got too much sun in the trailer.
Yeah, he does.
That's why he's under his cloak.
Under his cloak, doing stuff.
Doing stuff. We've got a bit of shelter from above, which is quite nice.
Good.
It's clouded over again. It's sort of cleared, now it's cloudy.
Yeah, it was strange how it was looking really, really nice, and I thought, oh, we're going to have a good day here. And then all of a sudden, down it came from what direction? That the east, is it?
That's north.
No, north.
Yeah.
So
Northwest.
from the north, in came a cloud, and but it didn't come to much. But the wind got up and the temperature dropped.
It was. Even the clock has spun round.
It did indeed. That's weird. That isn't it?
A Times piece sponsored by the Charles Guru.
Yes, that's right. Apparently,
Many years ago.
And of course, our sponsors this year, we've got Thistle Access
Yes.
for the trailer for the outside broadcast. We have Comms West
Yes.
for the communications. We have Gavin Cairns Rough Casting Limited, Trial Magazine, and of course Michelin. And I don't think we've lost anybody there, have we? I think we've covered everybody, haven't we?
No.
Oh no, the Tower, is it?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
I've forgotten the name.
Yeah, they're a hire centre.
The Hire Centre.
Yeah, Fort William Hire Centre.
Fort William Hire
Yes.
Centre. Is that the one that Cammy Kennedy works
That's Cammy,
for?
still
yeah,
there.
Cammy Kennedy.
I thought he'd been in the sun, but he's got a boat and he spent some time on his boat recently, apparently.
You know, when I first met Cammy, he worked for a gentleman, a local man called Ron Thompson.
Right.
And Ron Thompson had a small business out at Cool at the industrial estate, and he repaired and serviced lawnmowers, but he also was an MOT centre for motorcycles. But more importantly, Ron Thompson was a hardy campaigner on a motorcycle in trials, well-known trials rider here in Lochaber, and rode the Scottish 6 Days many times, usually on a BSA Gold Star, but he rode quite a variety of motorcycles, and one of his old BSA C15s was in the shop windows some years ago, and that created a lot of interest because that bike had been ridden in the Scottish, I think it was something about 20 times, that individual bike, after he'd sold it. It was a brand new bike to him in 1959, and he had the honour of being the only finisher in 1959 in the Scottish 6 Days on a C15 BSA, because all the works ones went out with machine failure,
Yeah.
but Ron's bike kept going right to the bitter end, and he was the only finisher that year on the new BSA C15, a derivative which then spawned the B40 that we were discussing earlier, unit single.
All
so
joins together,
the
doesn't
BSA B40 was a bigger edition of the C15. So there we have it. So quite interesting. Cammy Kennedy worked for Ron Thompson.
And about an hour and a half, an hour ago, we were asked to look for rider 18 something Si, I believe it was.
183, I think it
183,
was.
well, they're just about to leave right now.
Mr. Boniface, I think it was. Yeah.
They're about 2 or 3 away from the starting ramp. I think.
Yeah, he's just getting. He'll be getting ready to go. He's probably about 8 or 9 minutes before he goes. I don't see him at the moment. I don't see the bike 183, 182. I do see. So been there some. I think he might be sitting
There's a gap
looking
between
away from
183
us.
and 184.
Yeah, there's one here and a TRRS. I'm sure the guy's on a TRRS. Was it Jared Boniface? I think it was.
I don't
think
know.
it
Something
was.
like that. I think it's the name you said.
Yeah, so we'll maybe catch him tomorrow. That would be good. So yeah, everybody's got someone in the event that they have an interest in,
So
and
that's
they're
already
obviously
180 riders away.
Yeah, that's right. So that's how many minutes is that? 180 minutes.
Yeah.
90 minutes is
the
half
maths
of
now,
that.
here we go.
Yeah, 1.5, 3 hours. Is it 3 hours? It must be. Yeah, 7:30 to 10:30, 3 hours.
So I've got a funny feeling we're not going to find out what's in your lunchbox today.
You've got a funny feeling.
No, I've got a funny feeling we're not going to find
We're
out.
not. No, we're not going to find out what's in our lunchbox. There's a couple of bars of chocolate lying around just now, but they'll be collected later on, no doubt. And but no lunch today. I don't know what I'm doing for lunch today. I had a big breakfast this
We're
morning.
going to nick
so
some
it should be-
jeans with the G's chocolate, are you?
No, I'm not going to touch that. No. Oh no, I wouldn't delve into that. No.
I had a bacon roll, thanks to our sponsors.
You did. But I was good. I just had a cup
You were
of
very
tea.
good. You were very good. I know you'd always start this way, and then by sort of Wednesday, Thursday, you succumb a little bit.
Yeah, our sponsors this year for the sustenance is Gavin Cairns Rough
Yes.
Casting. So thanks very much, Gavin, for that. Keeps us going. He's taking care of it, so very much appreciated.
It all makes that little bit of difference. And of course, we're missing another box we normally got on our table
What's that?
with some lovely finger biscuits. Of
Oh yes.
shortbread.
Well, actually, I don't know if he's riding this year,
No, I
but
don't
I'll
know.
make some inquiries. That was let me think now. The Nevis Bakery, wasn't it?
Yes.
Nevis Bakery, Archie Patterson's award-winning shortbread. Yeah. So we don't know. We might get some handed in during the week. We never know.
So we like handing out to the. You're
we
like
we
Willy
get
Wonka
sufficient.
going around with your biscuits.
Yeah, handing out shortbread to
Get
riders.
your golden ticket.
That would be good.
Or is it the child catcher at a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
Yeah.
Come here, children. Look
That's
what I've got for
right.
you.
That's right.
Come here, children. What have I got for you?
You're very good at the films, aren't you? Yeah. Great. Talking about films, there's a gentleman selling merchandise here. He's 91-year-old, and his name's Pete Edmondson.
Yeah.
And one of Pete's sons, Derek Edmondson, is a gold medalist for Great Britain in the International 6 Days Enduro, which is the speed event that happens every year, round about September time. So Derek was an accomplished ISDE rider. But more to the point, his younger brother, Paul Edmondson, or Fast Eddie, as he's known, not only was a top enduro rider and gold medalist for the International 6 Days Great Britain trophy team, he also did the stunt in the last version, the last film of James Bond. Now, I can't remember the James Bond film, but he's the guy that, as James Bond, rides a bike up and jumps it onto a higher plateau in a village, right? He did that stunt on a Triumph motorcycle.
That's why you are the guru.
That's Paul Edmondson, and that's the guy who performed the stunt for Daniel. What's his name? Got his name now.
Look at that little face. He's so happy. He's so happy.
Daniel Craig. Yeah. What was the last Bond film?
It wasn't
called?
Quantum, was it? No. No Time Left to Die?
I think that was it. Yeah.
I've
Was
not
that
seen
it?
that yet. I don't think I've seen the last one.
I don't know where it was shot, but I remember seeing sequences, and Paul put it on his Facebook, and he obviously had to wear a wig and everything because obviously Bond takes the bike over from some other bloke, takes it off him, and of course he's not got a helmet on or anything. And he actually jumped it, and they actually showed you the pre-production, stunts for it, and he jumped it spot on.
Wow.
Jumped it spot on. That was it. Job done. Yeah. So Paul was very much involved in the stunt performance of that particular film. So
We're going to catch up with Davey very shortly, aren't we, David Dignam?
10:30. His
10:30, I
son
know we're
Ben
about a minute
Dignam
away.
riding the first Scottish
And
6
Si,
Days.
you were saying something there? Oh, blimey, yeah, sorry, yeah, sorry, yeah. Oh, Formula One, yes. Good race yesterday, enjoyed it. Oh. Do you know who won? Oh, there you go. Anything back there to report at the moment, just while we're waiting for David? Hopefully tomorrow things will be a bit slicker and you'll hear everything and we won't have this delay to contend with. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I'm just saying, we're sitting down and we're just saying, this is such hard work, we're totally frazzled. And it's just trying to have the two conversations, listening in both ears while you're talking. All right, fair enough. Don't talk back then. I'll try and do this on my own, even harder. Cheers, Si. I'll put my thumbs up, but you're not watching either, are you? So that's not going to help. Right, we've got a minute to go before David gets around the corner. He's just sorting a few issues out. As they do take part in the competition, we'll be drawing it in about 43 minutes, something like that. And we'll reveal today's winner. We've got a different competition tomorrow. I can't remember what it was for, but I'm sure John Moffat will know. And as I say, it is really thanks to all these sponsors, which let us do this here for Nevis Radio. Without them, and the financial benefits we get, we can't invest to get our signals as good as we're doing. So we do try and strive forward. I know Simon's put a lot more work in this year, just to try and bring it a bit slicker and a bit smoother. I know this doesn't work. I don't know. We've got stuff going on my legs now. This is not a man under a cloak. Can we have a table on wheels? What's going on? Right, I'm moving. Are we keeping that box? Is that staying there? Oh dear. Yes. And Mr. Moffat's just looking like he's waiting for his very first date at a prom. Right, here we go then.
Yes, here we have Mr. David Dignan from Roy Bridge, Fort William, who is now the 2023 Clerk of the Course, the Scottish 6 Days Trial. Welcome to the outside broadcast unit of Nevis Radio, David.
Thank you, John.
Now, obviously, this is your first morning as Clerk of the Course. The trial belongs to you for the duration of the week, organised obviously by the Edinburgh and District Motor Club Limited Scottish 6 Days Trial Committee. So the committee decide what the trial is going to be like, but on the day of the start, it's over to you because you're the main official of the event. How does it feel your first year in the job, Davey?
Yeah, obviously very proud. It's been a long time. Started back in the middle 80s, been involved in from riding, marking through the years, right through the organisation, setting out to the job, as you say today. I just get the privilege of picking the routes where we're going. That's again, as everybody knows, there's a huge amount of people in the bag doing.
Is that on that? Okay, sorry,
Yeah,
beg your
that's all right.
pardon.
No problem. Probably been picked up
pick-
by the microphone. Yeah.
So look, at the end of the day, as I said in the programme, look, for a local lad, who we've grown up with, it's your dream job, as you would call it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
yeah.
of course, you had your choice being a local man of it was either shinty or motorcycling. I think you did both for a while as well.
Yeah. I mean, shinty was our life, and it still is. Jack still is, very accomplished shinty player, and back playing shinty now. So yeah, it's the divide on there. The latter years has obviously been taken up with Ben, travelling and gallivanting about the world, like looking after him. So yeah, look, as any parent, you support your kids in all means, but as a family, shinty and bikes is that what what it's about? Le
Goes hand in hand, basically.
Yeah,
It's got
exactly.
to.
Yes.
But with the actual trial itself, I mean, you touched on things there that you obviously have a lot to do with the routes, because being Clerk of the Course, you need to know where you're going a good bit before the trial. You don't just, turn up and say, right, where are we going to go? It's all planned, from probably from last year on as to what you think you can use from last year onto this year. But there's probably been some changes in the area, perhaps, that's dictated to you where you can go and which days you can use, because obviously without the cooperation of the local landowners, you wouldn't have a trial at all. It's as simple as that. So you've got to work with all these people. So could you tell us a little bit about why there's been quite a bit of change this year compared to, say, last year, for example, because there has been some alterations.
Yeah, I mean, I think, to be fair to Jeff, coming back from COVID, it was a bit of a, okay, we'll do, it's a copy and paste.
Yes.
We had been away from it for 2 years, really, and it's amazing the amount of stuff that you forget to do and all that. But yeah, okay, so it fell naturally that, for this year for myself. As I said in the programme, there are planned and unplanned, changes. And I think the planned one was really just to kind of just use what we've got. The sections are there. And in my eyes, this trial's made up of 3 elements. It's a reliability, it's an endurance, and it's an observation. And I think you have to consider all 3 of these when you're setting it all out.
Yeah.
And that's maybe where I've kind of tried to look at it, and I, it's not it's very common knowledge. I'm not a big fan of the big loops and the road work, and we all don't like the road work, but it's been really hard to get what we would have classified as the big moor runs, in there. So we are under the events in total are under an environmental, as you work for Nature Scott, or you know exactly where all these are coming from, and we have to excuse the pun, we have to tick these boxes, and we have to do what we say we're going to do.
That's right.
So the landowners around here, Jahama, Jonathan Hart, these they're a major part, to what we're doing. Lochiel, they've been absolutely, tremendous in giving us the use of the land, and so we've got to respect that, and we've got to then, put our mitigation into place so that we can come back every year on year.
That's the good thing about it. And of course, what people don't realise is that in Scotland, the whole of UK, there are these SSSIs, triple SIs, sites of special scientific interest. And it's not just getting permission from the landowner, you've also got to get double permission from Nature Scott, because they control all these special areas. And it doesn't mean that nothing's allowed in these areas, it's just they've got to be well planned, well ahead, so that you can make use of part of them for the trial, because of the way the thing runs.
But without a doubt, and these consents are legal documents. That's right. So when we're getting these documents, that they are a legal document, and the landowner can be, so the consent actually goes to the landowner,
that's right,
not ourselves.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's very important on that. I mean, no more that we probably 2 months, I wouldn't, maybe 6 weeks ago. So myself, Nature Scott, Lorraine Servant, Kenny Cameron, and Jonathan, we walked the whole Ben Nevis, along the route that we take. There's been landslides there, but we had to then show and go through the route and pick out areas that were of concern and everything. So so that's just an example of what we're doing, within the area. I think the other thing I would like to say is that, you go back 20, 30, 40 years, I know we go, the event was longer than that, but in the Highland, in Le Havre, the 6 days was probably one of the only big events.
That's right.
In its so when the bikes came to town, as we would call it, there was no other.
There's nothing.
No other events in the area.
Nothing at all.
Now the area is under a huge amount of pressure between mountain biking, all the other activities running. So we're not unique now.
That's right.
We're just one of the many of holding an event in this area.
That's right.
And that brings its own, the sort of restrictions, as we'll call it.
That's right, yeah. Now, you mentioned about the road work, because a lot of the riders, whilst they maybe don't like riding on the road in the trials bikes, it gives them a wee bit of a break as well. There's a fine balance there. But what's the situation long term with making use of the public highway? I presume that perhaps the authorities would have preferred maybe less use of the road work nowadays. Would that be right in saying that, or am I totally wrong?
No, again, I mentioned it. I mean, I asked you earlier on, were you at the riders' briefing? And I think we called it the riders' briefing because it was the only time that we could get everybody together. And I would just like to say at this time is that the face of the trial are one of the riders and two all the spectators and support vans on that. Now, the police, they play a huge part in that.
Absolutely.
And maybe yesterday I didn't quite maybe get over what is there, but they're helping us. Their help to us to put this event on is absolutely critical. So we need to, we have to engage with them. We get permission from them.
That's right.
So without their permission and their goodwill, then again we fall foul to not running the event. So it's like a jigsaw, as the saying goes. It's just joining all these bits up together.
Absolutely. And of course, a lot of the supporters go round nowadays by vans. It used to be cars, but now everybody seems to have a van, which of course new ones
and a rather large van.
Rather large vans as well. It depends what they buy. And of course, these take up a lot of space. And of course, we've got narrow roads in the Highlands, single track roads, a lot of them.
Exactly.
And it's the parking of them is the problem. You can't park in passing spaces because that's for a specific job.
Yeah.
So it's to try and get all the wheels off the road is always the way I looked at it. Try and get all four wheels off the road at an appropriate place without cowping down the banking,
which a few have.
Which
but,
a few
you know.
have done. So
mean,
I think that's probably behind it as well. Yeah.
It is. Look, at the end, it's funny. I was just thinking, if you go and look at a car from even the 70s, 80s, and put it like a wee mini.
Oh, they're tiny.
They're tiny, in comparison to the smallest van.
That's
so I think
right.
the vehicles have got obviously a lot
Bigger,
bigger. We
yeah.
know that, and the size of vans. So yeah, look. I mentioned yesterday in the Highlands we have single track roads, but we don't have we have an in and an out, and that's it.
That's it.
We don't have that sort of network of roads in
Roadwork,
through there.
yeah.
So what goes in must come back out again. And
That's right.
all I ask, and as an organisation, Edinburgh District, we ask for the support vans, to be respectful, to try and avoid parking in these areas, and at the end of the day, it's an endurance, right?
Yeah.
You used to leave here in the morning, and you would wave goodbye, whatever, and you wouldn't see them until you came back again. They're seeing them 5 minutes along the road. It's let the riders be the riders out in there, and we've got to support, and I've got my own boy to support as well. So you've got to think of that. But look, at the end of the day, we want everybody to enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
That's
I'll go back to 1977, which probably predates you in the Scottish, because that's the year of road.
Right.
And what happened with me was quite simple. My dad had a 750 Honda with 2 panniers, and that was before the fueling was taken care of.
Yeah.
And he had a gallon can, as it was, of petrol, and he didn't have much in the way of spares. And he said, right, I'll be at such and such a section, and that was it. He didn't go every section,
No.
didn't pull in every side of the road. He went to a certain place. And at the end of the day, whichever way you like to dress it up, it's the rider's trial.
It's a
he's the guy that's got to get it round, not a whole host of support vehicles, which we seem to have now. It's the rider's trial, and outside assistance is frowned upon.
Exactly.
Let's be honest
yes.
about it. It's
Yeah.
a reliability trial, and I think you're probably right in saying that that's probably getting brought more back into it. That I was once told, they couldn't do the trial without us running after them, and I'm saying, well, in my day, I didn't have that much support, and if my dad was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I broke him down, that was
exactly.
tough, and I would probably been out of the event.
Yeah.
Happily, it didn't happen that way, but that's the kind of exciting bit of it as well, as getting your bike round, roping it together, or whatever you need to do.
Yeah, I mean, I got backmarking for too many years to mention myself, and our guest of honour this year, Alistair McGilvery, myself and Ali backmarked for numerous years with not so good bikes, as we'll call them.
Yeah.
And notoriously we were pulling riders off, and riders fixing their bikes. Ian Abbott in particular.
Oh, yeah.
But his swinging arm braking and way around in Ranach and putting it together with fence wire and pulling it back. Angel DS, if you remember Angel.
I remember Angel DS,
I
from
mean,
Spain.
how many times did I pull him off?
Exactly.
Kind of stuff. So yeah, look, we all think of the old days with rose-coloured tinted glasses.
Absolutely.
Right. Maybe you certainly more than others, John. But
don't know about how rose tinted they were, but
the
reality obviously kicks in. But it was a very much an individual's trial.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not looking to bring that, but by virtue of trying to do something else, that element maybe comes back into it, right? So I've tried to kind of, we were forced to, not forced to, we had to then redo the route because of Corran Ferry.
That's right.
The Highland Council gave myself the heads up a fortnight before it kind of the demise of it.
That's right. Stopped altogether.
Yeah. So that in itself then kind of pushes you then to go and look at other stuff. The landowners, have been absolutely brilliant with that. I couldn't have asked for any more on that front.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is that day. We've got such a moor run probably we've not seen in a long time. It's nearly 14 miles long, so where we're having to get fuel into it. So yeah, these things just,
because that's another factor that comes into it now, is the short range that the bikes have.
Yes.
The refueling at different points, all the provisions got to be set up for that as well. And in my day, a bike had my tank was almost 1.75 gallons, so it would literally run the whole day without a refueling. But now that's different, and of course you've had to over the years build up all these fueling points, so that's something else you've had to take into account. I suppose a 14-mile moor run, depending on the going, what gear they're in, the highest gear's the best to keep you flying on and using less fuel. And of course, the environment now, everybody wants to use less fuel anyway, so it all ties in with that. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes, especially with the newcomers who've maybe never ridden a moor 14 miles of length.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we do the fuel, we're working about 10 miles radius, to that. And, again, it's in Lochiel ground, and Alan MacDonald, the keeper up there, he's accommodating us with vehicles to take them up Argos,
which is great.
Look, without that, would be
you
kind of
be stuck.
coming unstuck on that, So I think this year what I had in my head in December was to freshen it up. Okay.
Yeah.
That goes without saying, and I said to the committee, look, I want to use more or less all the same sections, but I just want to just use them in a different way, different day, and just sort of make the riders just think a wee bit.
Yeah, that's right.
Nothing. The section severity, just the same.
That's it. I think all the riders have got to have their own plan at the end of the day, how they're going to make it work for themselves.
Yes.
And keep within the rules and regulations and all that, and respect the fact that if they have got somebody following round, well, I've got a lad in the trial, so I'll be doing a little bit of following round, is to be respectful to the landowners. Don't block somebody's garden or driveway to their house if it's in an area like that, etc., etc. Anything else you want to add to that I've maybe forgotten? With following people around? No,
I mean, look, we've all done it. We've all followed them round, and we've all done that, and I think, I always try and explain it. It's a 4 to 5 hour nuisance factor in any one spot, because that's what we're there for. This year, we're up Lundavaa to Balnafuja 4 times. And I say thank you to them, Ian McCall and Peter Kennedy, these guys up there in the Crofts, for having riders up there. I've tried to put them in the mornings up there so that they're not racing back at night. So they go out of Parc Ferme with a wee bit of sort of lag about them. So and as we say, it's just common courtesy, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
West Highland Way. Yeah. We've worked with the West Highland Way because, again, there's
all the
millions.
Up and down.
Exactly. And we've got to be respectful. You've got to be respectful no matter what you're doing.
That's right.
So again, you try and kind of factor that in. To what we're doing.
Brilliant. So we'll maybe see you later this week if you're about. If you need us for anything to announce things, it's always handy to have the radio on board, obviously, because it is the local radio station. It's not Scottish 6 Days trial radio station. It's Nevis Radio.
Exactly.
And there have been times in the past where certain incidents we've been able to put out live to let people know about traffic flows or anything like that, so you can always count on us to help in that respect as well. Of course, things have improved over the years with electronics and social media and you name it. It's all come in now, but hopefully we can help.
Well, absolutely. This has lifted its game in the side as well. So I think I said to Simon, I think it's important for me, and I would use, the morning. So tonight, whatever comes for tomorrow, the notes that go out are welcome to go out onto the radio. And try and put that. We use that Sportetti app as well for the riders. So communication is key to it. So,
John Bella, do you want to ask any questions of?
It's always a pleasure to be involved with this and sort of invite along. It's hopefully we bring a lot to it, like you're saying. We are not just the health and safety, but keeping people entertained and informed throughout the week, because it's not everybody's cup of tea who live locally. We've already spoken about that.
Yeah.
But it's nice to let people know what is going on and why it's happening, and the implications it could have.
First and foremost, it's the voice that's out there. Not saying unfortunately, it's John's voice. It's and hopefully we can get that from Ben's minder is an Australian lad, so they're obviously linked to live on this hopefully, and that's their means of seeing their son or whatever it is.
Absolutely,
on there, and it plays an important part.
Yeah.
We also have our partners with Jitsi,
Yep.
which do a different kind of
I'm
job.
going to say they're on a different side of it altogether.
Yeah, look, we're not trying. They're not trying to compete. You know, we all have our. You know, you all have our strengths.
Yeah.
And the Nevis Radio strength is that it's local and people are picking it up. When the riders are lying in their bed wondering what number what number's just going out,
Yeah, exactly.
then you know that's what they're looking for. Not what John's got in his lunch bag, maybe, but
Very interesting.
Possibly not, nothing at all.
on that. So yeah, no, that's fine.
You've got one more very important task. You've got to pick a number between 1 and 23.
Well, we'll go for 20.
20.
Yes.
We've gone for number 20. Number 20 will win the Apico handlebars for today's competition.
There you go.
Well, that you got the numbers and the entrance, yeah? Who was that? Laura Eaton. There you go. Won the handlebars for today. Well, David, thank you very much. We'll see you around. I'm sure
Thank
we'll
you.
catch up for another chat towards the end of the
Yeah,
week,
no.
as we always do.
Very welcome.
But you're not looking too stressed.
Hides it well.
Look, I'm not sure. Like, there's no point being stressed, right? I said to someone earlier on, in life's, you know, there's dramas on one side and a crisis on the other side. Look after the crisis, because life is just a total drama. so
You don't know what's around that corner.
Yeah, exactly. So you just take it. It's how you deal with it. Let's go on. You know,
Absolutely.
you'll never get everything perfect, right? So. That's
We all
my
know
thoughts.
about that one. but
Yes,
you do
exactly.
your best.
You do your best, and as
Yeah.
long as we do our best, that's what matters
That
at the
is
end of
it.
the day. So,
There you go. We're going to
thank
leverage
you,
on that.
guys.
Do your best.
Do your best.
Well, thanks
The
very
old
much.
shout
No,
motto.
thank you.
That's great. Well, Davey Dignan, local man from Roy Bridge, has been involved with the trials for many years. So thanks very much, Davey, and we'll hope to see you later this week as well. Thanks very
Yeah,
much.
no, thank you too. Cheers.
What's outside? We can go to a quick tune, then come back and we wrap up for the day.
Cause you woke up in the morning with initiative to move, so I make it harder. Back, think about it, so many people do be cool and look smart. The world time has come to.
From lodges by the river, barges on the canal, or even a luxury castle, they all share the common theme of being surrounded by stunning views and incredible scenery here in Lochaber. Rest assured, we are doing everything we can to keep you safe during your stay. We can't wait to welcome you.
tyre is such an important part of your bike. It's the only part which touches the ground. And when you get that perfect combination, it's hard to beat. The Michelin tyres have been perfect for me. I've been running the DH22 on the front and the DH34 on the back, and it's a really good combination between grip and rolling speed.
To have the clerk of the course come in on the first day of his new job there, so he's the man in charge this week, and explained what was all happening, how it would all come together, and just give us some heads up on some subjects of the day as well, so it was good.
Yeah, no, exactly. There's people wandering around looking. I think there's a bit of confusion in the old mobile technology van.
Yeah. Lots of switches.
Well, we've got literally
knobs.
2 minutes, minute and a half actually. Can we have a very quick roundup of maybe the best places to go and spectate?
Yeah, where
this
we're going
afternoon?
today, Monday the 1st of May of the Scottish 6 Days Trial 2023. The first rider should be heading into Milne-and-Tarb at the moment. He might even be there. And then down to Appin for the 2 sections there at Appin at 12 o'clock. First rider should arrive midday. Down to Glen Stockdale, 3 sections there, 25 minutes later, 12:25. Glen Muckrach at the 2 sections at Group J, 12:45, 1:45. Then on to Salachan, 2 sections there, 1 o'clock. The first rider should be getting into view, and then at 1:15 down to Bealach, up to Bealach, I should say, 3 sections Group L, and then further up the road, Group N, 4 sections Lagnaha at 13:40.
There you go. That is your route for the day. Before we sort of wind up, just thank the team down here. We've got Tom, we've got David, we've got Sean, and we've got Dan, all doing their own little bits. I'm John Wellersite in the studio, and we'll be back here same time tomorrow, 7 o'clock in the morning for day 2 of the Scottish 6 Days Trial.
From lodges by the river, barges on the canal, or even a luxury castle, they all share the common theme of being surrounded by stunning views and incredible scenery here in Lochaber. Rest assured, we are doing everything we can to keep you safe during your stay. We can't wait to welcome you.
The tyre is such an important part of your bike. It's the only part which touches the ground. And when you get that perfect combination, it's hard to beat. The Michelin tyres have been perfect for me. I've been running the DH22 on the front and the DH34 on the back, and it's a really good combination between grip and rolling speed. It's hard to find a tyre which has both the grip and the durability and not wear out. It means less tyre changing, less putting air in your tyres, less putting tyre sealant in your tyres, and it's just easier for me as a professional.